Hello, I'm Spors, a PhD student at the Mixed Reality Lab based in the University of Nottingham. Together with my co-author,
Hanne Wagner,
we will discuss our paper, Selling Glossy Easy Futures, in this video. In this paper, we explore the descriptions of commercial self-care apps in the Google Play Store through a feminist lens. We define self-care for mental health as a set of personal practices that people can use to look after themselves. Examples include physical exercise, meditation, or creative journaling. Technology can be used to support self-care. Unsurprisingly, self-care apps are a part of many people's lives. Facilitating self-care through technology is a tricky undertaking, as many of its features are abstract and not easily captured. So designers must make opinionated choices about how to communicate and present these features. This means that self-care apps inherently feature many implicit and explicit values, assumptions, and understandings of self-care. Apps therefore actively shape culture, but equally are influenced by mainstream ideas about health at large.
Within the Google Play Store, app description offers space for apps to describe themselves, advertise their features, and quarters to install them. This makes them an interesting data source to explore which values, biases, or ideas are encoded within them. To explore these ideas, we created a data corpus of app descriptions scraped from the Google Play Store. We decided to focus on the most ethical, privacy, and user-respecting apps within our dataset, which left us with a total of 69 apps to investigate. To make sense of these 69 app descriptions, we decided to use thematic analysis after Brown and Clark. We coded all app descriptions inductively through an intersectional feminist lens. Through discussing and self-reflection within our research team, we arrived at two concrete themes. Based on these themes, we developed 3 questions to revisit the data with in a deductive manner.
In the interest of time, we will focus on discussing our themes. Our first theme is self-care as an improvement tool for better, happier futures. Based on the app descriptions, doing self-care through apps seemingly leads to a better life. Self-care is not portrayed as a tool to just manage wellness, but it is shown as a device to work towards a negativity-free, better future. This presentation frames apps as experts that have all the answers we might need, a one-size-fits-all blueprint for our lives, without the need to ask us for input, disagreement, or nuance.
All stress is individual and easy to handle is our second theme. Within our dataset, stressors were commonly showcased as merely individual matters of personal attitude and perception. This framing of stressors within self-care apps does not recognize external or outside factors which might influence your well-being. We will now discuss what these themes mean embedded within a wider context.
Mental health is difficult to untangle, as it is influenced by many individual, cultural, and societal factors. Mental distress is also not a linear or universal experience. Both themes indicate that the app descriptions frame mental distress as personal failure. If well-being is something that hardworking people can easily achieve by themselves, we might not seek out further support or even go so far to dismiss our own self-care needs.
For many people, self-care apps might be one of the first spaces where they encounter ideas about well-being and distress. An overly individual, prescriptive, and assumptive framing of mental health has thus the chance to actively cause harm. We will sketch out 2 design recommendations that reimagine self-care apps and the descriptions for meaningful, beneficial engagement.
Our first recommendation is self-care apps as future-making tools. Instead of seeing self-care apps as mediators between the distressed here and the healthy then, we encourage self-care apps to engage with adaptive care that is recognizant of the ebb and flow of mental health within the individual person, to also move towards co-created, personalized, and contextual futures.
Our second design recommendation is self-care apps and their descriptions as transparent companions. We encourage a departure from addressing a potential client through a default normative lens. Instead, self-care apps should introduce and connect people to different levels and modalities of care. Ultimately, we advocate for a move towards relative, transparent communication of what apps offer instead of superlative and empty promises.
Thank you very much for watching our presentation. If this research resonates with you, please stay in touch.